heart of the vast Pacific, where the ocean kisses the sky and the islands dance with the sun, the ancient stories of our ancestors come to life. These are the tales of wisdom, courage, and adventure. Welcome to the Tales of the Islands.
The dawn of the Tongan Empire was once marked by fairness and peace, with the first rulers treating the Samoans with kindness. But darkness fell over the land when Tala'aifei'i seized the throne. Cruel beyond measure, he ruled with a heart of iron and was whispered to be a cannibal. His insatiable hunger for power and flesh was infamous, and every day a life was sacrificed to his monstrous appetite. His prisoners were forced to dig an enormous pit, the dreaded boulder, where they awaited their grim fate. Each morning, one was pulled from the depths to be served as efai tupu, the daily meal for the king. Tala'aifei'i made his seat of power at Safotu, a place haunted by the cries of those enslaved under his brutal reign. The Samoans, crushed under his tyranny, yearned for a savior. Their deliverance came from the old chief Ationgie, whose sons Tuna and Fata had already won the hearts and loyalty of the people of Upolu and Savaii. Their growing fame threatened Tala'aifei'i, who resolved to eliminate them before they could spark an uprising. One fateful day, Tuna arrived at Safotu under the guise of visiting family. But his true intent was far more dangerous. He was spying on the Tongans. The king's keen eyes saw through the deception. Determined to break Tuna, he commanded him to move an immense boulder that had fallen from the mountain, blocking the road. The task was impossible. The strongest men of the land had tried and failed. The king's decree was clear: fail and be cast into boulder. Tuna met the challenge with a simple reply: "I'll try." Under the cover of night, Tuna summoned his nephew, Ulumasui, a man of secrets and power. Ulumasui agreed to help, but only under one condition: he must work alone. With the world silent around him, he lifted his voice in an incantation: "Sa tunae, sa pusie, male sa fe, o maya se ifuli le maawatele." At his call, the rivers churned and the sea darkened. From the depths, the river eels, sea eels, and octopuses swarmed the land, slithering and writhing beneath the rock. With otherworldly force, they dug and flooded the earth, shifting the boulder inch by inch. Within 3 hours, the mighty stone tumbled away into the sea, clearing the road to the Malai of Malau. When dawn broke, Tala'aifei'i beheld the impossible. Tuna had succeeded. Rage boiled in his veins, but he dared not act. The people's awe of Tuna had reached new heights, and the king knew that outright execution would ignite rebellion. But his mind was set. Tuna and Fata must die. The brothers learned of the king's intentions and knew they could not wait for death to find them. They fled to Alepata, where they roused the Samoans to arms. Their battle cry thundered across the land: liberty or death. A plan was forged, sharp and deadly as a warrior's spear. In 2 months' time, the king would celebrate his birthday with a grand feast at Alepata. Tuna and Fata, cunning in their strategy, orchestrated the seating arrangements for the grand feast, ensuring that the king and his elite guards were positioned on the sandy shore. their backs turned to the vast sea. Unaware of the trap, the Tongans indulged in their celebration, confident in their dominance. As the Tongan Siva, the Matamatame, began, the air thickened with tension. This was the signal. Like a tidal wave crashing upon the shore, hundreds of war-painted Samoans burst forth from the jungle, their voices a deafening roar of vengeance. Clubs met bones. The feasting ground became a battlefield. The Samoans, led by Tuna, Fata, Ulumasui, and Talo, struck with the unrelenting fury. The once proud warriors of Tonga fell in the hundreds. The Tongans found themselves cornered. There was no room to maneuver, no path to escape. The Samoans relentlessly pushed them backward, driving them straight into the crashing waves, where many met their watery fate. Those who could run did, but none could outrun the wrath of Samoa. Even the helpless found no mercy in the onslaught. The battle was total, the vengeance absolute. Tala'aifei'i, bloodied and defeated, fled for his life. He reached the harbor at Ulumasui, where his ships lay waiting. Climbing atop a great stone later named Tulatala, he turned to face the approaching victors. The fire of rage had left him, and in his place, admiration for the men who had bested him. When Tuna and Fata arrived, ready to claim their final victory, the king raised his hands in surrender. His voice rang out over the silence. Mali toa, mali tau, a whai o te toe sau, o te sau I le au liuli folau, ai le I le au liuli tau. Brave warrior, bravely have you fought. If the Tongans ever return, it will be for friendship, never for war. With these words, the war ended. Tala'aifei'i sailed back to Tonga, never again setting foot on Samoan soil. The chains of oppression had been shattered, and the islands breathed free once more. Tuna and Fata, the liberators of Samoa, would forever be remembered, not just as warriors, but as the champions of a people's freedom. Their names echoed through generations, carried on the winds of history, immortal in the spirit of Samoa.
Whango ngō leo ia kofi le ulu maafala. Aiai se tasi e whaamakala. Kofi le kala manua. Aiai se tasi